My family just moved into a new house. We found a strange set of rules to follow. Part 3. Submitted by Luckyslin. I was frightened when I entered the house again. My parents had calmed down, Dad was sitting at the kitchen table, Mom was cooking dinner. I said that I didn't find the mirror in the garage. Mom simply replied, "We'll look for it together tomorrow, alright?" I nodded. I wasn't in the mood to eat something, so I just went up to my room, streamed shows on my TV until I fell asleep. But I didn't sleep long. At around 2:50 a.m. I woke up, the TV screen was static, and I felt strange. It was strange. My room was unnaturally cold, I was shivering. Then I noticed it. The mirror was back on my wall, right where I found it when we moved in. I was curious, had Mom put it back here? Why should she said we'd look for it together. While I was thinking, I recognized a quick movement in the mirror, just for a short glimpse. My hackles raised, what had I just seen? I stood up and moved closer to the mirror, now standing right in front of it. For a while, there was nothing. I just stood there, alone, in my room lighted up from the static screen and the bright moon shining in. But then I saw it, and up to this day, I can't tell what it was. It seemed humanoid, but it wasn't a human, it was several humans. The body parts in the freezer, mixed together into one creature, moving on two legs with additional extremities all over its body. Hands, arms, legs, feet stood out all over it. Like I saw it in the freezer, some parts were beginning to rot, others seemed pretty untouched. I viewed its entire appearance, taking a step back when I suddenly realized it. The eyeball that watched me. It was right there, in the middle of its head, if you can even call it head. It was a lump of flesh with the eyeball in its very center, staring at me with the same waiting look it had in the freezer when I first saw it. It was so cold I could see my breath, my mind was nearly crashing. What was I seeing? Before I could start to really think about it, I noticed it moving. It seemed to come closer. In the same moment, the whispering started again. I could hear several people talking, they were saying entire sentences, but I could only understand some words. More sacrifice mistake. I stood in shock, not knowing what I should do now, until I remembered. The rules. I quickly pulled my blanket off the bed and covered the mirror with it. The whispering stopped immediately, and I let out a relieved sigh. I sat on my bed, my head felt hot, my mind was racing. Again, my thinking was interrupted. The static on the TV screen had stopped, and you won't believe me what I saw. The creature, the same I had seen in the mirror just seconds ago, now on the TV. Now I could understand the whole sentence that was coming out the speakers. "Don't try to escape, Adam." I quickly turned the TV off and pulled the plug. I had to calm down. I left my room and headed for the kitchen to get some water. As I came down the stairs, I saw my little brother in the living room, staring at the wall. Confused, I asked him, "Jacob, what are you doing?" He didn't turn around when he answered, "They want me to play with them." They? What was he talking about? Oh shit. I realized what he was staring at. Shadows. All over the wall, there were dark shadows, they were moving, dancing, it was almost hypnotizing. I jumped down the last stairs and ran to Jacob, grabbing him by the shoulder and pulling him away from the wall. Now I could hear the shadows too, their voices were the same as the ones I had heard in the basement and in my room. Were they the souls of the murdered people? I didn't think about it for long, just pushing my brother out of the room, towards the stairs. "Okay, Jacob, go to your room and sleep." "But Adam, do what I told you." He went upstairs but stopped several times, looking back to me. I signalized him to continue walking and waited till I heard the door of his room shut. This was crazy. When I came back into the living room, the shadows were gone. Nothing. Just our living room. It was almost like I could have only dreamed that, but I knew it wasn't a dream. I knew what I had seen, and it freaked me out. There definitely was more to this house than the officers, pre-owners and my dad told us. I went into the kitchen to get a glass of water, thinking as I stood by the sink. Why was my dad acting like it all was a prank? It obviously wasn't. Did he know what happened in this house? You see, my family never had a huge load of money. Moving in this quite big house seemed odd. Unless it was cheaper because of its history, because of the things that had happened here. Because it was haunted. My thoughts drifted away, I looked around the room. The table, the oven, the clock. The clock. It read 2:58 a.m. Chills ran down my spine. I remembered the third rule. Don't leave your room from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. That's it, I had enough. I wanted to go to my room quickly and sleep, forget about all this until morning. then confront Dad with all the things I had seen in this haunted house. I went out of the kitchen and up the stairs, straight into my room and closed the door behind me. My room was almost completely dark, only the light of the moon supplying it with a beam of light. My blanket was still over the mirror, but luckily I had another one on my sofa. The room wasn't as cold as it was when I woke up, another weird thing I'd think about tomorrow. I grabbed my phone and checked who of my friends was still up. Thank God Nick, my best friend, was. I explained the situation to him and told him everything that had happened. Luckily he believed me. It was good to have someone who didn't ignore you. I spent the next hour texting with him until I eventually fell asleep again.